Right? You see what is
So
happening now?
we are here when they came with black and this thing. Then they started shooting. Back, one shit. Everybody sleep down. Go, move. Then they shoot our people.
Maybe the police people who came to come and stop them.
Shots were fired, injuries were recorded, and people had to seek refuge when a peaceful democratic process turned violent. Some masked men were caught on camera beating up civilians who did not resist arrest. The men, fully armed, were also seen in the company of some police officers.
What government changes? They see the police which is doing politics. The Ghana police which is doing politics. They should be very, very careful.
But the shooting that is going on there in somebody's private residence. We can't also go to MPP's private residence right now and cause commotion.
That's why we went there to come there.
What is all this?
That's why we went there to come there.
Is it war? Ordinary by-election?
Following this, the NDC withdrew from the by-election. Soon after that, government set up a commission of inquiry to probe the circumstances and also proffer recommendations. The commission took testimonies of principal witnesses in the matter, including the Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, Sam George, the commander of the National Security SWAT team, DSP Samuel Azugu, and the then NDC parliamentary candidate, Delali Kwesi Brimpong. The Emil Short Commission, amongst other things, recommended that victims of the violence should be paid compensation for the harm they suffered. A number of the recommendations were rejected by the government in its white paper. But according to a member of the NDC legal team, Abraham Amaleba, several efforts to get the Attorney General to initiate compensation processes have failed.
It has been like 4 years or 5 years now. The Emil Short Commission recommended compensation for the victims. There are 5 of them. The National Security attempted to compensate them, but there was some hitch. So they sent the compensation package to the Attorney General. We'll follow up to the Attorney General several times. Godfrey Dame will not even have audience with us. So what we have done, and I'm sure by next week, is to send him an intention to sue. You know, if you are going to sue a state agency, the State Proceedings Act requires that you give them notification. So that will be notice to the Attorney General that if they continue to be recalcitrant on the compensation packages, we'll proceed to court. So by next week, this document will go to the Attorney General and then we'll proceed to court if they fail.
Reacting to a related development regarding an alleged insightful comments by the Agric Minister, Brian Champon, Mr. Amaleba said the party hopes to see action from the Ghana Police Service following the petition the NDC presented to the Police CID for consideration.
As we speak, not yet. My expectation is that the CID boss will go ahead with inviting Brian Champon and have some word with him. And if we don't hear anything from the CID, and we've given them some reasonable time, if we don't hear anything from the CID, we'll make a follow-up to find out what has become of our petition. So we want to give them some ample time, reasonable time, and we don't want to stampede them into doing what they want to do. Considering the public outcry and the condemnation coming from civil society, not only the NDC, I expect that Brian Champon, as an individual, not because he belongs to an MPP party that says that they wouldn't allow him to apologize, but he as an individual should apologize to the people of this country.
Meanwhile, a political marketing strategist, Dr. Kobi Mensah, insists the position of the governing NPP on the matter is inappropriate.
I was expecting the party not to give out their person, but to demonstrate a certain remorse on his behalf, because he spoke for them, and to say that we don't think that this is what he wanted to communicate. Perhaps circumstances, it was a rally, it was a very, kind of rapturous moment, and he might have been taken over by the circumstances, and so he spoke how he did. So perhaps we apologize, or would ensure some internal processes, whatever internal processes were, we can't tell, but we would ensure internal processes that it doesn't happen again, and make sure that they can issue a line to sort of speak to, or a directive to speak to party functionaries, that as party that actually prides itself with democratic credentials, we would have to ensure a certain speaking posture that reflects the values of democracy.